All right. Back again for another episode of the Jake Silberman Show podcast program. Welcome back, folks. Hope you are all doing well. This is the most stable episode we'll have in a number of weeks, as I am sitting on my New York City bed, and Jack is back in the heartland of America. How's everything going over there? Was the election crazy for you guys? Are people losing their shit over the Wyoming candidates? I don't know. Do you guys even get represented in the fucking Senate? I mean,
I did not hear a single person mention the election one single time.
Oh, that must be refreshing.
It's pretty nice. There's signs around and stuff, but no one really, I don't want to say they don't care, but it's just not the topic of conversation.
I mean, it's probably like a one race. You know, like, I don't know. I don't really know enough about Wyoming, but I imagine there's not too much Democratic interference out there.
On the local level, there's a lot of different stuff going on, but yeah, for, on the national level, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah. No one gives a fuck about that whole state. Isn't that weird? That you live in an entire state that no one cares about.
And I think there's fewer people in the entire state than there are in the city of Portland.
No, really?
I think so. I think it's only 500,000.
Holy shit. In the entire state, there's not even 1 million people in the state?
It's 578,000 people.
What a trash state. So you guys get the same, dude, this makes no sense. So you guys get the same amount of senators that Oregon does, and one city in Oregon has more than your whole trash, stupid, hillbilly, fucking cowboy-ass state.
Just the city proper of Portland has 641,000 people, and the entire state of Wyoming has 578.
Yeah, why should you guys get the same? You should not have the same vote and voice as we do. This is pathetic. God, I did not realize. So it's just desolate out there.
There's not many people.
I guess I've driven through it, and yeah, it is just like fucking scrubland. But I just always assumed in every state there was 1 million people. Like, I don't know why that number was in my head, but it always seems like every state should at least have 1 million people.
Well, if you've you've probably driven through the southern third of the state, which is, in my opinion, not
it looks like
nice.
Mars.
Yeah, but
it's just a Martian landscape.
Up more, it's not. There's just not many people either, but it's nicer than just scrubland.
Yeah, and like red dirt rocks and shit.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. You guys should have maybe half a senator. He should get to vote like half the times on some issues.
A true
At some point, someone has to be like, all right, the senator from Wyoming has the floor, and people are like, that's still a fucking place? Fuck this guy, dude. Get out of here. What are you going to do for us? Someone's going to have to, some call girl, some lady of the night, some escort has come over to a DC office on K Street to blow a senator. She's like, all right, this could be my big break. And then it's the fucking senator from Wyoming. And she's like, what are you going to do for me, asshole? He's like scrounging his pockets for change. He's like, oh, I'm really sorry about this. I don't, no one cares. I don't get the salary that all the big boys do. So here's the Burger King coupon.
Gives you some beef jerky instead.
God damn, I can get you free tickets to the rodeo if you want to bring your family. She's like, I'm trying to pay for college, asshole. Wow. Yeah, I think this is trash. I think this is blowing. Can you look up, are there other states besides Wyoming that have less than 1 million? Montana, maybe?
No.
Like where?
Wyoming's the least populated state.
Okay, so you're number 50. Damn, dude. I gotta imagine the Dakotas maybe have less. No, I don't know.
See.
No, because South Dakota maybe has less than 1 million. Maybe
there's a few that have less than 1 million. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. South Dakota is one of them.
Okay, I'm gonna guess South Dakota. So we got South Dakota, Wyoming, Nevada.
No, Nevada's because they think they've got Vegas, Reno, some big cities, so they're not on there.
Yeah, but after okay, all right.
This is just pure population, not per square mile or anything like that. This is just
no, just like is Montana?
Montana's over 1 million, so under 1 million is Wyoming, Vermont, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Delaware. But Delaware's got 973,000.
Wow, they have more people than fucking Wyoming, dude.
Yep.
And aren't they like a tiny little thing?
Yeah, they're pretty small.
Damn, you guys should just team up. The under 1 mil team should just team up. You'd have less than 6 million, but you'd still, wow, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, I forget that most of the population is in like 5 states in this country.
Yeah,
it's like California, Texas, New York. Yeah, that's fucking
Florida,
nuts.
Pennsylvania, Illinois.
You guys are trash. But good for you. You're holding it down, dude. You're like a rare few. You're a rare breed. You're a Wyomingite or a Wyoming, I don't know, Wyoming man, countryman, fucking range guy. Well, I'm in New York, which is just too many people. They should even it out. We should send some of these people to the range. I had a New York experience the other day, dude. This is my first New York moment.
Oh, nice.
It's not crazy, but it was very funny in the moment. I laughed very hard. I was crossing the street, and you know how like sometimes like if you're crossing the street, but you're going to be taking a right when you cross the street, you start to kind of like merge. Like you're like you cut the corner basically, so you don't just like you don't cross. You like kind of like cut over a lane of traffic if there's no cars there. So I did that, and I kind of happened to like meet up. This lady was crossing from the other way, and so we kind of like met up, and we're like pretty close. Like we were like walking like next to each other, like looked like we would be like friends or something. Like just the way that we kind of met right at that corner. And so we're like perpendicular right next to each other, and I just look over at her, and she looks over at me. She's like, mid-50s or something. And she looks right into my eyes, and she goes, "How was school today?" And I go, "I didn't go to school today." Like, I just answered her earnestly. And then she goes, "I wasn't talking to you." And then her speakerphone was on, and her daughter was on the phone or some shit. But she didn't have AirPods in. So it was just like, I don't know, like, why would you look someone in the fucking direct eye through the fucking windows of their soul and then just yell at them when, like, I don't know how I could have been. It would have felt rude not to answer her. Like, she looked right into my eyes and just goes, "How was school today?" And I was just like, "I didn't go to school today." And then she just got so mad so quickly. She was like, "I wasn't talking to you." And then I was like, "I was just trying to be nice." And I just kept walking and started laughing to myself. And she wasn't having it. She did not chuckle. She wasn't like, "Oh, what a misunderstanding." She was just like very upset that I bothered her conversation for her out loud phone call in public. Which is all the rage here.
How could your interpretation of reality possibly be any different from hers of what's happening? How could you possibly misunderstand her world?
Also, why not just like enjoy the funny little moment we just had? Like, why be pissed? Like, why not just be like, oh, I get why you were confused. I looked right at you and I asked you a question. Why not be like, "Oh, that's so funny. I was actually talking to my daughter," like. Instead, she just had to. I mean, she's probably just been withered down by this city for. She looked hardened. She looked fucking like she's probably taken enough shit in her life that she was just like, "Yeah, go fuck yourself." Like, I'm not dealing with this. But she had no whimsy about the situation. There was no magic. There was no like, "Wow, that's so." hey, we're just two people on Earth passing through space and time, and this happened. Let's maybe have a laugh. She was more just like, I want to push you into traffic for bothering my very public phone call, which is absolutely all the rage in this town. Everybody is just FaceTiming, yelling into their phones. It's very strange. I guess you just don't have enough time to... I don't know. It's wild how no one seems to care here that their business is just out. And they're screaming. A lot of these people are screaming.
The FaceTiming while walking down the street is just like on another level of inconsiderate.
Inconsiderate, but also it's like they're not even like... half the conversations I hear are not pleasant. Like they're not even like lovely, like loving conversations. It's like two people screaming at each other over FaceTime instead of just like... I don't know, like that is so funny to me that you would be like, all right, I have to get into this argument, but I have to do it in the most public way, in the most public space. It's just like always a crowded subway platform, and a dude's like, I will fucking kill you, and he's like looking directly into this camera at some guy, and you're like, do you not just want to wait? Do you want to just go to like a private room, or at least not where other people have to hear you, you know? Like, it's no one cares. No one fucking cares. And honestly, it really, the phones, I mean, this is like, whatever. We're all on our phones all the time, but it really has ruined a lot of the subway experience, because it used to be like, you would, it kind of has ruined like people watching in a way. Like, it's not really... People watching on the subway, or like people watching in New York, was like one of the best parts about the city, because it was just like, you know, it's just fucking like a human zoo, you know? It's just like there's a bunch of fucking weirdos. But now everybody on the subway is just glued to their phone. It's like the same, you're looking at the same thing over and over again. It's not as diverse. It's not fun. It's just like you look down the train and almost every person is either looking at their phone or listening to something on their phone. And it's kind of like taken away a lot of like the fucking like magic of like being in a subway car with a bunch of strangers. Because it used to be like, you would almost like little interactions would happen. You would make eye contact with somebody, or you would like, you know, two people would be talking and you would notice who was listening to them. Like, it was a whole fun thing. And now it's just like everybody's just staring down at their phone, and it's kind of just like made it not as cool. I mean, you still get to see some weird shit, and there's like obviously some weird people who don't have a phone or whatever, but it's kind of taken a lot of like the fun out of it. Because like, I don't know, when I was a kid, like when I came here for the first time when I was 13, that was like this one of the coolest parts, is like you're underground with all these weirdos, and you're just like kind of like locked in a car with them for, you know, whatever. And then now it's just kind of like, oh, that's a bummer. Like, it's the same shit over and over again. You know, it's not that fun. Like, I'm trying to make an effort to like, I just carry a notebook with me, because I'm just like, well, I'm on the train a lot. Like, this is where I should write. So I try to like stay off my phone. Like, obviously I'm guilty of it too. It's not like this is not a look down judgment. It's more of like an observation of how just shit has changed. Because I like find myself sometimes looking at my phone, but then I'll just try to put it away and get out my notebook. And even if I just have my pen in my hand, it's like, all right, I can't look at the fucking phone. Also, it's so dumb because the phone gets interrupted every stop. Like, you look at it, and then the service cuts out when you go in the tunnel anyways. So it's like these people are just kind of like, you know, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's strange. It's like a weird thing that I didn't think I would notice, but I've like, just in the few days I've been here, I'm like, damn, I wish these people would put their fucking phones away. But I mean, this is just the old man in me.
Have you seen any wild stuff on the subway? Like any crazy performers, anyone acting crazy or anything?
Bro, I saw kind of a sad one. I saw this kid, he was like, maybe looked like he was like early to mid 20s. And, so you ever seen those, the dancers, the guy who's like used the fucking, the straps and the fucking bars to like,
oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. They're like usually like a crew of them though. But so this guy gets on, and he puts his bag down, and he starts playing music out of this speaker in his bag, and I was just like, fuck. Like, that is probably my number one pet peeve, is someone taking up public space for their own thing and not, like, because, you know, guys will come on and just be playing a speaker out loud, or they'll be playing a video on their phone, and, like, dude, that like sets me off more, like, than anything. Like, this pissed me off in Portland. In Portland one time, this is like always a funny thing, because, like, you know, like, everybody trying to pretend they're, like, colorblind, and, like, all people are equal, but, like, I know I see color, and I know I have, like, little racial things, because in Portland one time, like, I was on the bus a lot. I used to ride the bus a lot to work, and, you know, dudes would come on the fucking bus, and the bus is, like, you know, it's more confined than a subway car, because, like, you can get off a car and get on another one. Like, the bus is like, I'm on this fucking route with some guy, and, you know, they would play their fucking music from their speakers, and if it was like a fucking big black dude, I was just like, I'm not gonna say shit. Like, I'm just not gonna say shit. Like, I'll just fucking eat this, like, whatever. Like, but one time, this fucking small Asian girl was sitting across the aisle from me, and she's like, she is having a conversation, and she's just like, I don't know how to describe. She's not yelling, but she's talking so loudly that it comes off as yelling. Like, she's not screaming at someone, but her voice is so loud that it's like, it's that weird, like, what's the fuck?
Like, trying to be overheard, kind of?
I couldn't tell if she was trying to be overheard, or if it was like, it's that, like, uncanny valley where it's not yelling, but it's so loud that it almost, your brain is, like, confused. Like, why are you not yelling? Why are you this loud without yelling? Like, it's a weird thing. And she's, like, laughing, and just, it's so loud. And finally, I just turned to go, I was like, hey, your conversation is really loud. Can you just, like, keep your voice down a little bit? I didn't even tell her to, like, not talk. I was just like, you're, like, yelling right next to me. And she got real upset, and this fucking white lady stormed from the back of the bus, and she goes, she's not doing anything wrong. You keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, she's being loud as hell. I don't know what you want me to say. She's extremely loud. And then the girl got really embarrassed and just ended the phone call. And she was like, well, I guess I can't fucking talk anymore, and hung up the phone. Ugh. And I think when she got off the bus, she kind of gave me a sneer. And I looked back at the lady who fucking came up on her behalf, as if this is not a kid. This is a fucking adult woman who was like, and I didn't raise my voice. I didn't fucking scream at her. I politely said, like, hey, ma'am, you're being very loud. Can you please just, like, lower your voice a little bit? And, of course, Captain fucking Racial Progress had to swoop in and be like, she's not doing anything wrong. You keep fucking doing whatever you want to do. Fuck this guy, whatever. And I just looked back at her. I was like, what is your fucking problem? You have nothing to do with this situation. She's like, I don't like people telling what other people to do. I was like, well, she's in a public space. This is not her fucking living room. We all are riding the damn bus together. Shut the fuck up. Now, again, this is because she was a small Asian woman. If this was a black person, I would have shut the fuck up. And I'd be like, all right, well, this sucks, but I'm not fucking getting into this shit. I'm not doing whitey on black for the fucking phone call or the fucking music. And in New York the other day, actually, I read an article about this dude, this fucking old white man, who told a black guy who was playing music on the subway, please turn your music down. And the black dude beat his ass. He beat his fucking ass. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not. He beat this, like, old man's ass. He's, like, in jail now. And so anyways, but this guy starts playing music, the subway guy now, back to him. He's playing music, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's got to just, like, why is he playing his shit? And like, it just seemed like he wanted his music to be played. And then I realized that he was going to do the subway dance, but he was just by himself. He didn't have a crew of friends. And he gave such a lackluster, like, he looked like he was on a job that he didn't want to be. Like, it was like he was, like, showing up to work that he didn't want to do. He had, like, no energy to him. This is like me having a bad set, basically. There's, like, no energy. He had no animation in his face. He was just, like, kind of dead-eyed. and he was like doing cool moves, but they just looked like there was no soul behind him. Like he was like hanging upside down, and he looked like he wanted to kill himself. And he just looked so like sad. And then at one point, dude, he's literally upside down on this pole, and his music stops, and it cuts off, like the Bluetooth disconnects. And I don't know, man, there is a moment of sadness when a street performer like loses the backing music, because then it's just a guy like being in a jungle gym without, I don't know, it just is like so cold and dead. I was just like, this is uncomfortable, dude. And you can tell like he's embarrassed because his music stopped, so he has to get down and silently he's like, oh, what the fuck, and he's like digging through his bag and like trying to like reconnect it. And then he gets the music going again. And then instead of going back on the fucking poles, he starts, a lot of times I've seen them to do these like tricks with their hat. So they'll like kick, like they'll drop it down on the floor and like kick it back up on their head, and like, you know, kind of like a ball, or, you know, they're like moving it around their body. But again, he's just like lazily doing this, and it's like not always landing on his head. It's like landing on his like forehead and falling off. And like, just like, it was so weird. Man. It just looked like he was like doing this because he was in prison. Like, it was like, all right, for community service, you need to like go and publicly like embarrass yourself, you know? And so he was just kind of like, da, 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 da. And also like he was doing it, he did it on like a pretty, some of the stops, but like some of the, I think the guys who are smart, like they'll do it on a long stop, like from point A to point B is like a minute. You know, like some of the trains, it'll be like, it'll take you like 45 seconds to a minute between stops. So they have like a long time to dance and like get people into the thing and maybe collect a little money. But this dude was doing it in like short intervals. It was like these stops were not that long. So the next stop came, and then like half the people got off. And so he like started muttering to himself about something about like, hey, I'm like better than this, I'm just practicing, or like, it was like a very weird thing. And then he just got off of the train. Like, I think he was so embarrassed that he was just like, he had to like save face. He was just like, yeah, man, I'm just like practicing or whatever. I mean, I felt for the dude because I've been there, you know, like I've bombed before. So I was just like, hey, you know, you get him next time, dude. Like, but he didn't even ask anybody for money. Like, he didn't even do the thing where he, you know, like, the whole point of doing this is to get a couple bucks. But it went so poorly that he just was like, gave up. And he was like, all right, well, like, yeah, I'm just getting better. And then he just like slogged off the train, like just shoulders sunk sullenly. He was just like, all right. And then I was like, ooh, rough set, dude. That is a rough set. It was wild. It was like very funny. And these two teens were watching him, and like they were actually very polite, but you could just tell like they wanted to clown him. Like they were just like kind of holding back, like, oh, dude, I want to roast this guy so fucking badly. But they were nice and didn't do it. But they just kept looking at him and looking at each other and like smirking and being like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And yeah, it's weird. Like, that's the thing, is like most people just ignore him probably because they've seen a million dudes like that. But I was like, if you ignored this guy, you missed a great laugh. Like, you probably just thought he was just doing his thing. But I don't know, watching someone fail like that in public is kind of heartening, because I was like, he's going through it right now. He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed himself. Also, to do that by yourself is brave, because almost all the ones I've seen, they always have like 4 dudes. And they like hype each other up. While
you're watching, there's 2 of them going around pickpocketing everybody.
Yeah. And instead, this guy just had the...
No, not really.
Well, no, but they're at least getting the money. They're like doing the they're going through the aisle and getting the fucking money. And this guy just didn't get any money and just was sad. Like, he made his own day worse.
Maybe he was like a avant-garde Andy Kaufman take on the Subway performer.
Maybe, where he was just like, you know what?
He was commenting on it.
Right. And the comment was, what if I was bad at it? I like how a lot of the times that is what avant-garde means. It's like, here's a new angle, is I'm bad at the thing, and that's the talent, is I'm not good.
A scathing critique of Subway flipping.
And it's always like, you know how people work their lives to get really good at things? Well, what if I didn't put any effort into it and I was bad? And that is now supposed to be celebrated. I mean, obviously, I wasn't alive during Kaufman, and I really did like Man on the Moon, but the clips I've seen, I'm just like, I don't get this shit. Like you know, and like you hear other comics talk about how a genius he was. I'm like, I don't know. Sure, whatever. I mean, I'm sure I don't appreciate it, and some comedy snob is like, fuck you, you don't get him. But sometimes I'm just like, but it's hard to be good. Like, that's the talent. It's very hard to be good at anything. So when you're just like, my talent is that I'm bad, it's like, well, thanks. Like, I don't know. And you never see an avant-garde dude in sports. You never see, like, the NBA get a guy who's like, oh, he can't dribble. And it's, like, kind of fun that he can't do the thing. It's only in art where these losers are like, oh, my God, it's so great. I mean, you know, I don't know. It's just...
An avant-garde orthopedic surgeon.
Right. You can't be avant-garde except in fucking art where there's, like, space for everybody. Dude, an NFL quarterback who was avant-garde who just got this shit blown up every fucking time... You just get fucking rocked by fucking a 350-pound lineman. I mean, that would be fun to see. I would love that. But, yeah, I mean, it's, the avant-garde movement is just like, you know how you spent years, like, learning how to paint a face? Well, it's like, what if I just shat out paint all over this canvas and now you owe me $1 million? You're like, okay. There's guys now who I see on Instagram who their art is they hang a paint bucket from the ceiling and put a canvas under it, and then they just poke holes in the paint bucket and like spin it. So the only human element of the art is that they tied up the paint bucket, put the canvas down, put the holes in it, and I guess technically decided the direction of the thing that would spin. But everything else is just where the paint falls. That's it. And I don't know. It just seems like there's so much room in the art world for like shit like that, and because it's subjective, you can just be like, yeah, it's good, or it's like, I mean, even comedy is subjective, but in every room, every night, there is a clear objective, good or bad. If someone is getting laughs, no matter if it's hack, weird, whatever, it's good in that room because people are laughing. Or if they don't get laughs, it's bad. Like, there is an objective measure to every comedy performance. Did people laugh or didn't? Now, subjectively, you could be like, well, that type of comedy isn't for me, but you can't really say it's bad if a room full of people are laughing. Like, it just is what it is. But when it's like fucking spinning paint or whatever, you're like, no one is ever allowed to say that, like, there's never really an objective. Like, there's no, like, you know, you see those fucking guys in those museums where it's like, oh, you put a blue dot on a fucking canvas, and it's like, how is this worth money? Like, I don't understand why this is worth fucking money.
I think they say to that is like, you know, someone sees modern art and they say, well, I could do that. And then the response from the modern art community is, well, you didn't.
Right. Great. Maybe because we're smarter and we didn't do it. Maybe we were like, yeah, why would we waste people's time and money with some bullshit like this? Maybe we're actually considerate. There's a fucking guy who I actually respect the hustle. Maybe you can look this up because I don't know if I'm explaining it right. But there was an article I read a few years ago about a guy who sold... Basically what he sold was the idea of art to people. So I think he sold like an invisible line to a couple. So they don't actually...
An NFT?
No, but it's not an NFT because there's not even there's no digital representation. There's literally like, there might have been a piece of paper saying you own a Silberman or whatever his line.
Oh.
It's like...
Yeah, here it is. I got it.
It's like he sold...
Salvatore Garau sold his latest invisible sculpture. The work titled I Am doesn't exist except in the artist's imagination. The buyer gets a stamped certificate in exchange for $18,000.
I mean, the fucking G level that this dude pulled off to be like, yeah, dude, it's in your... He basically... He sold you in your imagination now. You lost $18,000 for a piece of your imagination. That's what this guy gave you. I mean, it's just like... Can you imagine, Jack, for a second, living in a world where not every one of your fucking friends clown the shit out of you to the point where you were like near suicidal? If you came to me and and you and all my boys were around you, and you're like, dude, I just spent $18K on a piece of art. We're like, damn, what is it? You're like, it's invisible, and it only exists in the imagination of the artist who sold it to me. We would ruthlessly mock you to the point of like you would not want to be friends with us anymore. You would just be like, this is not worth it to hang out with these guys. Because every time we saw you, we would ask you, how is your art? Let me see your art. We want to see the piece of art you bought. And all you could do was pull out a fucking stamped piece of paper out of your wallet and be like, this is the art. This isn't even the art, actually. It just proves that I bought an imaginary thing. I mean, this is only even allowable in a group, a social circle that is built upon just pure fantasy. That you could pull this off. Because these people go to dinner parties and they're like, I own what's this guy's name? Salvatore something.
That's the only reason to buy it is just the conversation.
But in that world,
yeah,
that conversation is somehow like legitimate, and people are like, "Oh my God, you have a Salvatore?" And they're like, "Yeah, I know. Isn't it crazy? I bought his piece. I am, and I can't show it to you, obviously, because as you well know, it's in his imagination. But his imagination is worth $18,000. I mean, the fact that these people run the world." These people are like in positions of power and on boards and deal with people in the government. And they're like, it's a good idea to buy $18,000 imaginary things.
All right, here's some details of the sale. You want to hear a little bit of details from the artist?
Yeah.
Okay. The lucky buyer went home with a certificate.
The lucky. This is already using that word, lucky, as if there was clearly competition. There was, oh my God, they're the lucky ones. The fact that in our world, everybody who didn't buy that shit is the lucky one because they didn't get fucking suckered out of $18,000. But okay, continue.
The lucky buyer went home with a certificate of authenticity and a set of instructions. The work, per Guerrero, must be exhibited in a private house in a roughly 5 by 5 foot space free of obstruction. Quote, when I decide to exhibit an immaterial sculpture in a given space, that space will concentrate a certain amount of density of thoughts at a precise point, creating a sculpture that, from my title, will only take the most varied forms, the artist went on. If you thought that was artsy claptrap, he goes on to draw a rather lofty comparison to the work. Quote, after all, don't we shape a god we've never seen?
Bro, so many neighborhoods, this guy would get punched the fuck out. I mean, we just live in two worlds, bro. I mean, it's just, this is a pretty hard line. You either believe in this shit or you don't. And I guess he is right in some way that, yes, it's like you either believe in God or you don't. Like it's either there or it's not, and it's invisible. But like, the one thing that God has over this guy is that the last time I checked, you could believe in God for free. This guy is charging $18,000 to believe in his shit.
Right.
This guy is worse than God. Like God, for all the shit he's done, you could believe in God for free. You can get a free Bible. You can just believe in God in your own conception of God, free for your entire life. From the day you're born to the day you die, it can be a free exchange of like, I have a God and I believe in him and I pray to him and I think about him and I love him. This motherfucker is like, yeah, that thing that you have in your life? I'm starting to charge for it. And it's $18,000 and it takes up physical space in your house. Can you imagine walking through someone's house and being like, and please don't walk in that 5 by 5 area. There's actually an invisible statue there that collects a certain type of thought density, and if you walk through it, it kind of ruins that. You would look at them as if they were fucking insane. If you were like, in that 5 by 5 section, my own God is there, and he gets really mad if you walk through it. You'd be like, I'm not going to eat dinner here. I don't know what you put in the fucking food. Dude, these people, man. These people. And they wonder, like, why they are, like... why there's so much fucking hate towards them from the bottom. because you guys do shit like this over and over, and you have no sense of concept of why people look at you like you're fucking clowns. Why don't the fucking underlings like us? It's like, because 5x5, dude, like, that's a fucking bed. Put a bed there for somebody to sleep on. You fucking piece of shit. What are you doing? It's clown world out there, dude. It's absolute clown world.
Do you think it's just like a velvet rope square in the lobby of their house? Like in the big entryway or something?
If you didn't rope it off, I would walk right through that every time on purpose. Every time you invited me to your house, I'd be like, I'm going to walk directly through your invisible statue and see what you say. And then if you get mad, I'll be like, this is how I interact with that art. The way I interact with that art is I take up the space that it occupies. There are more guys like that guy. It's not just him. I remember I remember reading the article about how it was a fucking movement. It was like a movement of artists who were doing this, who were like selling the concept of a piece of art or selling the idea of art. Maybe these guys were just the early NFT people. That's basically what an NFT is, I guess, is like, you own this thing that does not exist. Here's the fucking proof. You get a little whatever. But NFTs bottomed out, didn't they? Like, no one fucks with NFTs anymore. That shit is fucking gone. But yeah, dude, just clown fucking world, dude. Just a fucking clown ass world that these people fucking live in. Avant-garde bullshit. God, yeah. Fuck them. I hope your fucking statue gets stolen. So does that mean if your house
is paying $18,000 for nothing that much worse than paying $60 million for an 8.5 by 11 drawing?
No, it's all trash. I'm not saying that it's all trash. It's just a corruption of the whole thing. But the idea that you don't even get anything physical anymore to look at is next level scam, dude. Yeah, there is some overvalued art, but at the end of the day, at least you still have a piece you can look at, and it actually does change the room. It actually is like a thing on your wall that you can be like, all right, there is something here that gives this room a different vibe than it had before. Even if it's trash, even if it is just a blue dot on a fucking canvas, no matter what, it's still there. At least that dude put in the time to put the blue dot on the thing. That's like the best defense, is like, at least they did something. This dude, all he did was scam people. He marketed them. And again, I have to respect the hustle, because it's like, if people are willing to pay for it and you can convince them that they own something. I mean, the only thing that they have really over any other art is that literally could never be stolen. I guess you could steal that piece of paper and say, actually, now I own it. I carried that 5x5 statue into the fucking my house. But
wonder what it looks like in his mind. Just a big dollar sign?
It's probably a giant cock. Probably just a fat cock and balls that you have now displayed in your fucking house. These people are fucking morons. These people are fucking idiots. And that's just, but that's what happens when that's just like, I think that's just that's an outcrop. That's a externality of society. Is like when there's so much wealth. This is why, like, I don't. This is why it's unsurprising to me when I hear about like an Epstein guy or like a billionaire pedophile, because I truly do feel at some point these people have had every pleasure, and they at some point go, well, what about kids? Like, I just feel like at some point they're just like, well, I guess I should try kids. You know how like these motherfuckers are like, I have to kill a rhino there's only like 8 of them left. They're like, I have to kill one of those because it's like, it puts me in like rarefied air. It's like, that's the same mentality of these people as like, I need to buy such wild shit. Like, it's like, they might even know, like, it's crazy that I paid $18,000 for nothing. but it's like it just is. It's a part of this like. The money that I have is such at a level of like fuck you money that like why wouldn't I do this? Like what? Because if I just bought a fucking Picasso, like other people own Picassos. Other people like, yeah, he's a great artist, but it's at the end of the day, it's like that's kind of like base level shit. So why wouldn't I? Like I'm in the conversation now. People want to talk shit. Who cares? They're mentioning my name. I bought it. I'm like. They have to come to me at the dinner party and be like, yo, you really bought that shit? And then now I'm the fucking nexus. It's the same. These motherfuckers are like, well, I fucked every supermodel. I fucked men, women, theys, thems. Like, I guess the last frontier is like, maybe I should fuck a little lady boy. Maybe I should go to fucking an island where all my homies have told me about. I don't know. I just feel like that's that level of like thought when there's that excess amount of wealth. They're like, well, what else am I supposed to do with this? You already bought all the cars, the planes, the houses. Like, at some level, it's just like, what experiences can I have? And this one is kids. This one is invisible art. This one is, you know, the new designer drug. You know, like, whatever it is, it's just like, this money has to go somewhere. You can't just not spend it all. You have to do something with it, you know?
Yeah. It's like the opposite of imploded, like reaching the pinnacle of material wealth and success, and then imploding from drugs or alcohol or whatever, just going insane like that way. This is just like another way to go.
Yeah, just
out of your mind when you've reached the limit.
But it's like, for some reason, the art world, though, like we obviously, like normal society views the Epstein shit as like, this is sick and fucking, you should all be put to death. But the art world is like, it's not really like damaging anybody. It's just still, it's fucking stupid. But we have to be like, oh. The worst part about that art bullshit is that they always make regular people feel like they're stupid. It's always coming from this thing of like, you don't get it. And that to me like drives me fucking crazy. It's like, no, you're just like too stupid to understand this invisible artist genius. And it's just like, I don't know. So if I burn your fucking house down, does your invisible statue go away? Like if I fucking light your fucking house on fire and it is just ash, does the invisible statue make it somehow? Do you still own it? Did it burn down with it? It doesn't. If I burn the piece of paper, what does that mean? If I make a copy of the piece of paper and I steal that copy, do I own a copy of it? These people, like
well, maybe in the next few years it'll trickle down to normal people. Like maybe they'll be selling invisible live, laugh, love signs at Home Goods.
Yeah, and then you're like, I don't even need it. This is that great reset. You will own nothing and you'll love it or whatever. This is that shit. You're just like, yeah, you don't even need to own the art that you own. You don't even need to see the art that you own. It's great. Yeah, man. Dumb fucking shit. Can I do a little local bone pick because I'm in my fucking anger feelings right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Dunkin Donuts is trash. I know I'm supposed to like it as an East Coast native, but this shit is such garbage. I cannot believe that this has taken over the East Coast. This shit is so bad. I mean, it's like one of those things you just have to kind of be born into. It's like a religion in some way. It's like,
totally.
It's like, look, I know that like it's dumb that we have this holiday where our God was born and we celebrate around a tree, or like our fucking 8-armed elephant god, or our fucking Yahweh shit, or whatever it is. But like, as an outsider, I'm coming to it, and this shit is hot garbage. And I tried it, bro. I gave it a fair shake. I just bought one today. I bought a fucking a drink from them today, and I mean, bro, I cannot believe how bad it was. And
what did you get?
So I don't drink coffee. The only drink I kind of like from these places is an iced chai. It's like a chai latte, tea, kind of, or like a whatever. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what chai is. I think it's tea.
Yeah, spices and tea.
Spices and tea. So that's the only thing I really like, and I get it with oat milk. I don't do regular milk. And Starbucks has got it down. First of all, Starbucks is like, it's the same every time, and no matter where you go, it's the fucking same. I've tried the same drink at a few different Dunkins. It's like wildly different, every time. It never has the same flavor. And today it was like the lady straight up handed me a glass of milk. There was nothing to it. It was just iced milk. And I'm just like shaking it. I'm like, maybe the flavor is like not mixed right. I'm like shaking this thing and jamming a straw into it and trying to swirl it up. There's nothing there, dude. It's just like she just gave me milk. And this has happened multiple times to the point where I'm just like, this is some type of cult. Like, this is just like this East Coast cult that you have to be born into as a child to not question it. Because if you're coming at it from my point of view, 35 years on this earth, two things I say, the Holocaust and Dunkin Donuts, never again, bro. Never again. I can't do it. It's like, I call me a basic bitch that I like Starbucks, whatever, but just that's my review.
Yeah,
of
I'm
Dunkin'.
with you. I don't like it either.
But it's like these people worship it, dude. Some of the funniest videos are, my friend sends me these news videos from this like local news reporter. He's kind of like doing like a man on the street thing, but for the local news. And he just interviews people when a Dunkin' Donuts closes in Massachusetts. It's the funniest shit in the world. I mean, it's so funny because it's just like,
we're fucking devastated.
And the dude's like, so where are you going to go? He's like, I guess I'm going to have to go a mile up the fucking road, dude, because they got one over there, but they don't have one in my fucking neighborhood now. And I mean, it's fucking hilarious. They are so funny. And there's one out here on every fucking corner too.
Oh, yeah.
But garbage, bro. Just maybe the donuts, like maybe if you just went in there to get a donut. I don't really do donuts that often, so like maybe I'll get a donut there, but I would never order anything to drink from Dunkin' again. It is garbage. It's like not worth it.
Dude, when I was a kid in school, if the teacher brought in a box of those donut holes,
yeah,
or someone's mom maybe brought it in and dropped it off, man, that was a good day.
Yeah. But that's when you're a child.
I forget what they're called. They're in the little box.
Yeah,
you know
I saw them selling there today. Yeah. That's fine though, but that's like a donut. But the drink is just, I mean, shame on you guys for swindling these good hardworking people. But honestly, again, like, hey dude, maybe it's like the invisible art. Like they get it, I don't. I'm an idiot, I don't know. But try to find those, to the listeners, try to find those YouTube videos. I don't know what this fucking called, but it's so funny watching these people. And one of the best SNL sketches, the video sketches ever made, was the Dunkin' Donuts one. I don't know if you've seen that. I think it's with Casey Affleck. It is one of the funniest sketches because SNL doesn't really hit that hard usually. Like there are a lot of misses on SNL, but this one, this was like 8 years ago now, but perfection of the Dunkin' Donuts guy. So watch those if you're that's my fucking internet wreck for the week, but yeah, so fucking good, but never again, dude. I felt like I was going to fucking vomit. After that drink. I got through like half of it. I was like, I can't keep doing this. I think she literally poured a glass of milk into a cup and was just like, fuck this guy.
Was it oat milk?
I can't even tell. I stopped drinking it because I was like, I don't even know if I'm drinking oat milk. Like I'm just not even going to chance it. Like there's no reason to chance it.
Ugh.
It's just
the coffee, it's like tastes like gum. It's got like a chewy, gummy consistency. It's weird. It's kind of like Taco Bell. The way that Taco Bell is a taco, Dunkin' Donuts is coffee. Like it mildly resembles the form. It has some semblance of the flavor and ingredients, but it tastes nothing like it.
Yet, just like Taco Bell, there are millions of devotees. People, I don't understand anybody who eats Taco Bell. I mean, it's just like these people eat that shit, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you fucking thinking eating this shit? And they love it, dude. They fucking love it.
People living in LA will go to Taco Bell,
right,
to get tacos. It's like, what in San Diego, you're gonna go get a Taco Bell?
And I like white people tacos. I like it when they put fucking weird shit in tacos. I'm a fan of that, but that's not like you're just getting the worst version of Mexican tacos with Taco Bell. You're not even white people tacos is like, oh, we put fucking jackfruit and this sauce in it. And it's like, all right, whatever. Like I fuck with that. But when you're when you just do it when it's just like, oh, this is a beef taco, but it's the worst version of it. Please buy it from us. No thanks. No.
Like it's like buying a Subway sandwich from Subway if you live in New York City.
Right.
Like
it's
you're
like
surrounded by the best sandwich shops in the country on every corner, and you go to this.
Right. You're just gonna go get a fucking textured asshole? Like, fuck off. Yeah. I say no mas. That's what I say. I say no mas, dude. Por favor. No mas. Dear God. Yeah. So, yeah. Straight trash. Not good. Nothing's good here. Nothing. This Dunkin' shit is not good. I'll tell you what. I have a strong appreciation, though, for money now that I live here, because every day I just see an apartment I'm jealous of. I'm like, ooh, that would be so nice to live in there. Because I'm basically creating an adult dorm room here. I'm just getting like, I just bought all this shit on Amazon, like I bought a bed and all this shit, and Amazon's algorithm must be like, oh, this guy's going off to college. Like, he's getting a full bed. He's getting the cheapest.
Got a John Belushi poster recommended.
I'm gonna have to get one of those like octo lamps. Do you remember those like Target lamps that had like the 8 arms and they're like multicolored? Yes, I had one of those into my 30s. And anytime someone came over, they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Dude, what do you want? Like, I'm poor. Like, I just need." And I'm gonna have to get one of those. I'm going to have to get a Blacklight Bob Marley poster. And, it is the low end of everything here. And it's a small little room, too. It's like as big as a dorm room. And then I've been into other people's apartments, and it's like, this is so nice. Like, I've already been into a number of New York apartments where I'm like, this is nice. This is fucking nice. I've been in some of these neighborhoods where you just like look at these nice walk-ups and you're like, damn, dude, this is like Mr. Rogers, dude. This is like Sesame Street. You're just walking down. It's like people out and it's sunny, and these white babies are with these Jamaican fucking nannies. I've been in New York for like those last 2 weeks and these few days, and I have not seen a single white parent with their own child. It's always a Jamaican nanny. It's like they hate their own kids. I have yet to see a parent actually parent their own child. It's just a shockingly white baby with the fucking Jamaican lady at a park every day. I don't know when they actually see their own kids, but dude, I was walking yesterday in Brooklyn, and this Jamaican lady had like a little girl like in a stroller, and then there was like a little toddler, this little boy, and he was like all scared to cross the street. I don't know, dude. It's just so funny. She's like, buddy, cross the street, buddy. You gotta cross the street. And she's just like hollering at this little fucking kid, and it's just so funny to watch this. I'm like, it's just a whole park full of Jamaican nannies with these little fucking like curly red-haired babies. I'm like, do you ever see your mom and dad? Like, it's so funny, but I guess it's like what money is. You're just like, hey, we both work big money jobs. Coretta's going to watch you all day. She's going to be basically your surrogate mom. And then we'll see you at night when we tuck you into bed and drink wine.
This brownstone is $12,000 a month, so...
Yeah, we just spent another $18,000 on a fucking invisible statue. We had to move your sister's crib out of the way and into a broom closet because we needed 5x5 to fucking put our statue up. So that's what we're doing with our life and our money. Anyways, folks, that's the pod. Enjoy your invisible statues, whatever they are, be it Dunkin Donuts or a fucking Guerrera or whatever that guy's fucking name is. Yeah, nothing much to plug. I'm in New York. I'm going out to shows every night trying to get booked, but it's going to be a slow process. So not much out there except rate and review the pod, tell your friends to listen. That's how we're going to build this thing. Yeah, we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.